Please don't forget, guys, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. You know it makes sense. Come on, you Irons. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are watching this around the world. Welcome to Forged from Iron, and I am Gatesy, your host. There was a news article on Hammers News which caught my attention, the headline being, UEFA confirm West Ham or Sparta Prague face European ban if Daniel Kretinsky completes full Hammers takeover. And it alluded to the fact that should West Ham and Sparta Prague qualify for the same UEFA competition, that one of the teams would have to drop out. And it got me thinking, who do I know within the West Ham YouTube community that would have a pretty good handle on the situation? And there was one man I thought of, Geo. Bernard, I said Geo, not Neo. Thank you. I'll be glad when he puts in a transfer request to E20 Zone TV. Anyway, so Geo was very kind enough to give his time up on a Saturday afternoon to contribute to Forged from Iron, and he gave his take on the situation.
Geo, thanks for joining us, mate.
No problem. Pleasure to thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
No, it's my absolute pleasure to host you, my friend. I just wanted to get you on. We was obviously chatting off air, but just sort of like for the viewers at home for a bit of context as to what this is all about. I've got you in because obviously, number one, you're a very knowledgeable chap about things going on in the West Ham world, and I respect your opinion. And there was obviously an article that got my attention on Hammers News regarding the Kretinsky takeover, if it should come to pass, if it should become a takeover. Now, obviously, we know that he's got a 27% stake holding in the club, and that there's an agreement in principle that should he wish to take more shares, a price has already been agreed in advance with Gold Sullivan as to, the price of the shares should he wish to take that option up. Now, on this piece on Hammers News, it goes on to say that UEFA have been contacted by them for clarification over the multi-club ownership situation. Now, and they've basically confirmed that should it come to pass that Daniel Kretinsky becomes the majority shareholder at West Ham United and simultaneously keeps his 40% shareholding in Sparta Prague, that we would not be able to compete in, as I understand it, the same UEFA competition. I don't think it's an issue, and you can correct me if I've got this wrong, if, say, we were to get Champions League and they were to get Europa League or vice versa. What's your understanding on this particular situation, Gio?
I haven't read the article of that, but from what I understand in regards to the ruling, I'm happy we corrected this, just off the top of my head from what I believe, is that there's two things for UEFA, and that relates to majority shareholding. There's a stipulation added on in there. So the first thing is anyone that owns greater than 50% of two clubs cannot play in the same UEFA competition. Simple as that, really. Obviously, Kretinsky only owns 40% of Prague, so that sort of makes you think, well, that won't be an issue then.
Yeah.
However, that was a ruling. Then some people took advantage of it, if you like. So they've added a stipulation, is how they word it, is that then anyone that's directly involved in the majority voting of two clubs then can't own the two clubs, because to stop someone owning 100% of West Ham and say 40% of Sparta Prague and essentially running two clubs and saying, well, hang on a minute, I'm not the majority shareholder, I don't have that 51%. So it's to catch situations like this out. But there's ways and means around it these days. I am not bothered by it at all. At the end of the day, Kretinsky we can have our doubts about him in regards to a football person, because he's not done the best at Prague, according to Prague fans. Don't know enough about it, kind of thing, but going by what the Czech fans have said on comments or videos and stuff, they would insinuate he's not done too well over there. And obviously Kretinsky done his article in the Evening Standard, and he put his hands up a little bit and basically said, I've messed up a little bit at Prague in the past, but I'm going to learn from those mistakes at West Ham. So you can have your doubts over him as a football chairman or whatever it is you want to call him. But one thing I don't think we can have too much doubts over is Kretinsky's a businessman. He's made himself extremely rich. He's one of the wealthiest people in Czech Republic. He's got assets, if you like, paper total is worth £4 billion. It's stupid. So clearly he knows business. You can debate the football side, but he knows business. There is absolutely no way Daniel Kretinsky is going for West Ham not having a plan to get around this UEFA thing. Now, that might be selling the Prague shares, but it also might be that his missus purchases large shares in West Ham United, and he doesn't actually ever own 51% of West Ham. He may only ever own 4 to 8% or something like that, and therefore ducks under the UEFA ruling. There's lots of companies, usually companies that get around it. All you have to do is look at RB Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg, for example. Manchester City have had similar things in the past. Their owners own other football clubs as well. There's ways around it. And Daniel Kretinsky, I have zero doubt he has a plan and he's fully aware of this. I don't think it's an issue. It's a lot of noise, but it's not an issue as far as I'm concerned.
You've actually preempted one of my next questions there, Geo, but it was regarding the Red Bull Salzburg RB Leipzig, because for people that are watching that are not aware, they faced each other in, I believe it was the Europa League in 2018, and there was a bit of an investigation by UEFA, apparently, and they said nothing to see here, they're completely separate entities, they're not. But for me, it's like, well, hang on a minute, that if you go on to their Wikipedia entry, they are owned by the Red Bull energy drinks company. So I'm like, well, how can that possibly be? Can that stand up to scrutiny? I don't understand.
Well, the Leipzig thing is a sort of case on its own, and because obviously Germany have a 50+1 ruling, so the fans own 51% of the football club at all times, or say the fans, you buy membership to own a percentage of the club. But what Leipzig do, the membership is so expensive, me and you can't afford it, Gatesy. We can't afford a little bit of that 50+1% of the club. So essentially, Red Bull employees can't afford it though. So the shares are so expensive, if you like. So they're owned by Red Bull employees. So that's how they get around it, if you want. That's how they get around it at Leipzig. I don't know enough about the Salzburg side of things, but certainly at Leipzig, because I know there's a 50+1 ruling over there, so that nobody can do, I guess, what they're doing at Manchester City, what Roman's done at Chelsea, and what Kretinsky probably wants to do at West Ham is to avoid situations like this. It's so that it's always, the power is always in the hands of the fans, if you like. But again, as Leipzig's showing, you can put as many rules and laws in place in football as you like. You can do as much as you want. There's always loopholes, and the people like Kretinsky are rich enough to employ the best people in the world in order to find the loopholes, expose the loopholes, and get through them. Simple as that. So UEFA can investigate the Red Bull model all they want, but as we have found out, they've sorted it. They found the loopholes and all the wording in UEFA's ruling and done it, and Kretinsky will be doing the same thing. And like I said, worst case scenario for Kretinsky, this is, I think there's two things we'll see. Either A, his partner, who is even richer than Kretinsky, her dad was the richest person in Czech Republic, who unfortunately passed away 6 months ago. So his girlfriend is worth over 10 billion or something like that. So she can afford to buy half of West Ham United. She can own 50% of West Ham United in her own name. Or he may then sell Prague. I don't know which it'll be. I don't mind which it is as a West Ham fan. I've got zero affiliation to Prague. But going by what Prague fans say about Kretinsky, I don't think they'd be too annoyed if he was to sell his shares in the club, because they're not the biggest fans of him. I'm just not concerned about this at all, Gatesy, and I think it's one of those things that sometimes people look for an issue when there isn't an issue. And as myself and yourself who do YouTube channels, you can probably accuse us of doing it. If we say, oh, this player's not in good form, blah, 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 we're probably reading too much into things and making a story out of nothing. I think this is just another one of those things. I don't think there's anything to see here. I'm not bothered in the slightest.
So it's a bit of a non-story that Hammers News have put out. It's a little bit clickbaity.
Probably, but that's That's what they've got to do, though. They're a news site. I'm not slagging Hammers News off.
No.
We do the same. You'll probably title this video something like "Massive Kretinsky Shares Issue" or something like that. You'll clickbait this title. We'll clickbait video. The Hammers Chat is what you've got to do. You've got to drive people to click on stuff. If you have a title saying Kretinsky issue, not too much of a problem, not many people are going to click on your video.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, you've got to dramatise it a little bit. That's what Hammers News have done. And to be fair to them, I didn't realise, like I said, I'm not read it. So when you said they've contacted UEFA, at least Hammers News, what I will say to them, fair play to them, because by the sounds of it, they've gone and done their research. They've gone out and tried to make an effort to get as much information as possible in the article, give both sides of the story, so to speak. And there's some news sites out there that could do with taking a leaf out of their pocket.
Yeah. Well, Geo, appreciate you giving your input, because as I say, I respect your opinion, and I know that you've obviously done a lot of your due diligence around this particular subject. So I just wanted to get you on, because as I say, I saw this article and I straight away I'm thinking, who can I get on that would know their stuff about it? And the first person I thought of was you, mate. So really do appreciate you giving up your time to give Falls from Iron viewers a little piece of your knowledge.
No problem at all. You and Duke and Cole, keep up the good work. Look forward to see what you've got in the future.
Thanks very much for your time, Geo.
So that was Geo's take on the Daniel Kretinsky ownership of both West Ham and Sparta Prague situation as far as UEFA competitions were concerned. We thank him very much for giving up his time on a Saturday afternoon to contribute to Falls from Iron, and we hope to be able to host him on another stream at some point down the track. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell icon to be notified of any new content as and when it is uploaded to the channel. And please also consider sharing this stream onto your social media platforms. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Stay safe. Only one thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.